often I come in contact with creatives like yourself, and I am so excited to be in this room with all of you guys. My wheels are already spinning. I was listening to little conversations you had and you guys had back there, and it's exciting to see all this. So again, I've come in contact with a lot of creative people, and oftentimes I hear about projects that they're working on or projects that they're not working on anymore. And what you mostly hear from them, why they're still working on them or why they've stopped, is because of that fear and the doubt that they have. And sometimes it comes from people we know and some that are very, very close to us. So to give you a little background on me, I worked for Costco for the last 10 years in the marketing department. I go around to different companies. I sign people up for memberships, but I also go to different Costco's around the world, and I show people how to smile and wave. I also have my Pride and Joy Sunny Social Network. I worked on for years. I've started it, I've stopped it. Just recently, we're going to be online coming soon this fall with us getting together with creatives like you, and we're finding out what works for them. But we're also finding out what stopped them and what motivated them to go further. So this is why I have these, because I'm all over the place. Here we go. I am also known as a connector of creators. So I find what you do best, and I connect you with a business that needs you. So I've been known to do that. I've also been known by my oldest sister as the bad one of the family. That, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I never went to college, and they all did. Maybe it's because I stole all her quarters out of her piggy bank. I'm not really sure. So I spent half of my teenage life trying to be accepted by her, and it never worked. So I would constantly try to maybe hang out with her friends, get a job like she would want me to. She worked at a bank and she's in financial services. And then I always, for years, again, tried to be accepted by her. The second thing that I want to tell you about also is how I got started at Costco. I got started at Costco. I didn't want to work. I was a stay-at-home mom. And my husband said, you work at a bar sometimes and the money never comes home to us. I worked at the Blarney Irish Pub. I would have lots of cash and I'd go to the store and spend it. So he told me I had to get a real job like everybody else in the corporate world. Costco was coming to town, and I stood in line and took 5 different interviews and got the job. They offered me a marketing position 7 years ago in 2007, and I said no. I asked for the cashier position. Why? Because I wasn't good enough. And the other people that were getting hired in marketing worked for these huge corporations and had lots of extensive backgrounds in marketing. So going into Costco, we started these groups where people from the bakery, from the meat department, people that were cashiers would gather in these groups and go out and sell memberships. And then they would come back and say, oh, that was fun. We told everybody about memberships, but nobody brought any money back. And our general manager said, we need to find a way to get memberships. So I would gather all these little groups together. I would tell them to go to Joe Schmo's business, who owns this place on this day, he's there from this time. Go there, tell him what you're doing, tell him I sent you. I would tell another group to go here, another group to go there, and another group to go somewhere else, a business, someone that I knew, and then they would all come back with memberships. So 2 weeks later, my boss said to me, please sign this paper. So his name is Bill Koza. He's a general manager of the store. Please sign this paper. I said, why? He goes, because I'm putting you in the marketing position. No, I can't do this. Matter of fact, we've already replaced your cashier position with somebody else. And then he showed me how much I was getting paid, and I signed. So it was $1,000 more. And my husband at the time was very happy. So moving forward, I got divorced. I found myself in an apartment that I did not like, I did not want. I kind of moved out a little quickly, and so it was my son and I at the time. He was 9 years old. I only had a sofa with 2 cushions, and a mattress, and a TV. So I had no forks, I had no shower curtain, I didn't have shampoo, I didn't have a toothbrush or anything. And I didn't have heat for 2 weeks. So that means no hot water also. So no hot water meant I had to find a friend in the apartment complex where we could take a shower at their place for the next 2 weeks. So can you imagine me walking from one complex to the next, towel over my head and my toothbrush and my son walking with me. I hated living the apartment life, finally got my stuff together, I was determined, but I was just lost. I was sad, I was going through a divorce, I was working a job that I loved, but my mind was being taken by being in a crappy apartment with not being able to give my son everything he needs. So I had to find light. And I really had to push up. I mean, I had to fight. So I started making up stuff in my mind. If I was going to have a good life, I was at least going to have it in my mind. I couldn't have it on the outside. So there was a fantasy I had, and my friend lived in a neighborhood. And in this neighborhood it went around and came right out. Just a big cul-de-sac, came right out. In the middle was this huge field, and it would be perfect for my son. I mean, at Halloween, I took him there. They had puppet shows, they had hot chocolate, they had chili, they have fun games going on. I always took my son there, and his friends also, again, lived there too. And every time I took my son there or picked him up, I would pull in a random driveway, and I would say, "We're home." And he would say, "Okay, Mom." And I did that probably for the next 6 months. And then one day I went and picked him up because I was so determined not to live the life that I hated so much, whether it was in my mind or not. Picked him up, drove it up into a driveway, and I parked and I said, "We're home." And he finally said, "Okay, Mom, stop. You have to stop doing this." And then I pushed a button on my car and the garage door opened, and I welcomed him to our 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, attached garage, a beautiful backyard. It was amazing. It was great to give him that. So I want to go back to my sister, my oldest sister. If I would have still have tried to make her today, try to make her accept me for who I am, and maybe she finally did, I wouldn't be up here in front of you. I'd be behind a desk pushing paper that I didn't like. I would be probably miserable, and the day on my deathbed, I would have regretted it. I go back to Bill Koza, my general manager, who gave me that opportunity. My advice to you right now is don't wait for a Bill Koza. I was lucky to have Bill Koza to push me, tell me you are good enough. And then, when it comes to my life with my son and growing up, I want to encourage you guys to just dream it. My mom always said, if you dream it, you're halfway there. So removing the suggestion box, you don't need permission to live a creative life. So stop wasting your time, your energy, on being accepted by certain people. So stop wasting your time, your money, your funding, whatever it is, write that in there. So I wasted years of my life for my sister to accept me. But if I did that, this is my life. This is what I want to do. I need to live for me. The second one is don't wait for a Bill Koza. So my thing was Bill Koza. So don't wait for a Bill Koza to tell you you're good enough. Don't wait for that, whatever it is that's stopping you guys, to tell you that you're good enough, because you are. We all have it in us. It's just mind over matter. And then the second one is keep dreaming. And this is something my mom always said. If you dream it, then you're halfway there. I do reference the book, Big Magic, Living Beyond Fear, a book by Elizabeth Gilbert. So if you guys want to also go back in that, I suggest it. And if you're still looking for a permission slip, go out there and make shit happen. Here's your permission slip. All right? That's all I have. 98 degrees. Thank you.